Next up, we have Martin Breckbell, who is a multi-talented individual as well as doing world-class scratch building. He's our editor for our newsletter, Observations, which has a circulation of over 8,000. Before we introduce Martin to do his Donovan's Repair and Machine Shop, part 3 of 3, I'd like to run the Observations newsletter video.
Get more new tracks modeling by reading the monthly Observations newsletter. Each edition of Observations includes exciting articles about modeling shown on the show, other modeling topics and prototypical railroading information. Other articles focus on outstanding model railroaders and new products from a range of suppliers. Don't miss the photos of the popular new tracks my build. You can download Observations for free from the New Tracks Modeling website. Subscribe so you don't miss an issue.
I encourage our Zoom participants and our YouTubers to submit articles into the Observations newsletter. It's a great way to get engaged with New Tracks modeling, and then maybe someday we can get you to do a live presentation. So up next is Scratch Builder's Corner with our hero, Martin.
Where?
Oh. My hero.
Oh boy. Boy, we're both in trouble. Let's see. Here we go. Got way too much junk on my screen. Yeah, there we go, I guess. Okay. So yeah, it's been 2 weeks, so I have to remember where I was or where I even am right now. I would say I'm perpetually lost. So we're going to pick up from part 2, which was, I think, 2 weeks ago. We had the structure sort of assembled. A roof was going on, and I'd slopped some paint on it, kind of haphazardly, just to get a good, well, not so good of an undercoat, so we know where we're going. And I think that's where we stopped, give or take a little bit. Some doors were in, some chimneys were in. Got a rough two-tone paint job started, some details added, but it's in between. It's on its way. So let's go a step forward. We've got 2 coats of paint on everything now. Chimneys are painted. There's some a little bit of weathering on the one, some color variation. The doors are painted. And I've added a base. So this one's, you know, I've got some, I lucked into a 5 or 6 sheets of very nice plywood at an estate sale out of the basement of somebody's house that I pittance, that I knew I will use it someday, and someday has come. So it's going to be cut up and put under models or whatever else I can think of to use with it. It's actually way too good for that, but at the price I paid for it, I don't care. So we have a base. And go around the back side of the building, you can see we've got some slop on the roof around that one chimney. The roof is all on, nice and sloppy, just the way I want a tar paper roof to look. You don't want it nice and tight and clean. I want it to be lifted up and messy. I just put that down with carpenter's glue and leave it loose and don't worry about it too much. And around the other side, you can see it's some tar around the base of the other chimney. There's about 6 different colors of red on that chimney. I just grab everything I have in red and polyscale and kind of randomly make bricks, be whatever color I want them to be. Okay, so we'll go back around the front. Okay, all those windows and doors I had, they were all the windows were painted and glazed. It's the one thing I hate doing more than almost anything else is glazing windows, cutting out acetate or mylar or whatever it is you like to use. I used to love to use polycarbonate Lexan, but I can't get it anymore. I don't know where to get 10,000 Lexan, but it used to come from Clover House, but that's no longer ongoing business at the moment. The shutter's been painted and added as well. So we go around the end where you have those fake rafter tails. Same story. We got 2 windows in place, 2 shutters, everything's glazed, shoved it into the holes. Just a little bit of goo on each window casting holds it in place. Don't really need a lot. It's fairly snug. Not too snug. You have the hole too small, you'll warp the casting, you pop your glazing out, and a colorful language will ensue trying to get the glazing back from the inside of the building. Go around the back side. That one window that I made with a hinged shutter, painted, glazed, and put back in place. Everything's got a coat of paint on it now. Well, that's interesting. This is the other side, the last side that had one final window, sorry. So now we have everything painted and glazed and in place. Forgot about the 4th side. Oddly enough, a rectangle has 4 sides. I don't know how I forgot that. So let's take a fast forward into the future and closer to the end. We've got some signage. We'll start with the signage, despite it saying scenery first. Signage it's all a PowerPoint. Print it all up in PowerPoint, cut it out, scalpel and metal ruler, and glued in place on the walls, on the doors. We have a no admittance go around back. It's closed, going fishing. Scenery supplies, it's basically woodland scenic stuff. It's gravel, but some of that stone, the stone over here to the left, that's actually out of the basement, out of my house in Pennsylvania. That's what's underneath. That's what the basement is. It hasn't got a floor. It's all gravel. It's stone dust, as they call it. Some castings, a barrel, some crates. I've forgotten who makes it. I think this is actually Wiseman Models. A little combustion engine, some lighting added. That lighting actually goes through the building out the bottom. It's actually can be wired for and turned on if I so choose. Go around the back side. Well, given the condition of this chimney, we had to have a ladder, so I put a ladder back here. Some waste barrels on a pallet, off a pallet, some oxygen tanks. I don't remember what a red cylinder is. In my laboratory, it was either hydrogen or hydrochloric acid, but I don't know why you'd have that. Crates, some theater chairs, another pair of theater chairs, put those around back. And of course, the sign here says no admittance, go around front. So you're pretty much going around in circles, which is generally how I am anyhow. And we go around this end. Look at this nice winch. This is a Crow River kit. Lots and lots of pieces, lots and lots of fun putting together, getting all the gears cleaned out, meshed together, assembled. The instructions are decent on these. It's a lot of fun. Quick. It's a couple of days because you want to take your time with it and paint each piece as you assemble it. If you try and paint it once it's assembled, you go crazy. It's much easier to paint all the parts and assemble it piecemeal and then finish it up later. This cable is actually surgical silk. And a hook, I think, yeah, that comes with it. Oil tanks, gas tanks, and such. This is actually from Berkshire Valley. It's a nice set of castings. It comes with the pumps and everything, even the spigots, faucets, whatever you want to call them, at the end. Another piece of ladder here just in case something gets clogged up and you need to get up on top of your tanks. This is actually, there's a piece of resin underneath this. It was all one big resin casting, so I didn't like that being exposed. I just covered it up. More stones, more debris from woodland scenics, some scenery, odds and ends, debris, and some added little details. Like right here underneath the shutter, that's actually a railroad spike, tie spike holding the shutter open. So I went back and actually drilled holes and added these all the way around to hold the shutters open. Wouldn't want the shutters get closed while you're messing with your models. And you can see that they're right here again. One little spike, and some weathering, mild, nothing too extravagant anywhere on this model. It's polyscale washes, and then some not pan pastels, but some
Chalk.
not chalk. It's the paint. Well, I can't remember the word. I'll
Pigments.
pigments. There's the word. Thank you. Yeah, I would have remembered it otherwise about 3 o'clock this morning coming up. It would have woken me up. And a little white light weathering on the roof just to say it's not new. It needs a little work. It's going to have to get recovered eventually. And we're done. And next week, I don't know what I'm doing next week because I haven't given it any thought, and Tom hasn't asked me yet. So don't ask me now because I don't know. And so you're just going to have to come back next week and find out, just like I do.
That is an excellent model. It's amazing what the weathering did to the basically those solid primary type colors, the gray and the off red. The weathering really set that model off. Yeah.
He just needs a little, and not a lot. And I'm adding that with oddly enough Q-tips
Yeah.
and little micro foam brushes. They're a couple of millimeters. Dipping it in it, just swabbing it on, and then using the Q-tips, smear it around and pull off what I don't want.
You find
Martin,
that
we have a comment and a question from YouTube.
Oh, goody.
Comment was Google .010 Lexan as a
Okay.
suggestion for glazing.
Okay.
And the question is, why do you use surgical silk for cabling?
Well, okay, a couple of reasons. One, I have a lot of it, and it was free, and it's sitting in my shop in my basement, and it came on lovely wooden spools too. It's long, long yardage of it comes, and I have it in 3 different weights. It's braided silk. It's virtually unbreakable. Try and break it. If you try to put it in between your two hands and pull it apart, break it, snap it like you think it will with any other type of stuff, twine or whatever, all you're going to do is cut your hands. It's incredibly powerfully strong. I use it for all kinds of things. It's also braided, so that shows up. If you look at that picture carefully, or look at the model carefully, you'll actually see the braiding in that exterior. So it's an obscurely small detail, but it's there. I use that for just about anything where, truss rods. I use it for all kinds of applications. I just happen to like it. And, like I said, you can't break it. You have to cut it. And I'm usually using surgical scissors or a scalpel blade. And you had a second oh, those were the two.
very good, Dr. Martin Breckbell.
Okay, well, technically can use that title, but I rarely do.
That's an excellent model. One of my favorites now of yours.
It's sitting here resting quietly.
We look forward to whatever it is that you're going to have for us next week.
You and I will debate it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for participating this evening. As always, excellent modeling.